Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. I am Dr. Sana Jabin. Today I am here with the 19th lecture of the course Techniques in Microbiology. In previous lecture, under the heading Identification of Microorganisms, we studied about various classical and molecular based techniques to identify microorganisms. Now we will move towards the biochemical tests to identify microorganisms. Biochemical tests are the last part of the section identification of microorganisms, highlighted here in the outline of our syllabus in the red box. There are several commercial systems for identifying bacteria which are available. These are often difficult to obtain or they are very expensive to use in developing countries. This topic includes a range of conventional biochemical tests and the commercially available tablets for the identification, and it is very easy to use these procedures for the identification of microorganisms. The first one is the beta glucuronidase test. This test is performed for the identification of E. coli. It is an effective and rapid method for the detection and verification of E. coli in food, water, and environmental samples. E. coli produces the enzyme beta-D glucuronidase. The substrate of this enzyme is 4-methyl lumbelliferyl, and as a result, this enzyme yield the 4-methyl lumbelliferyl moiety, which fluoresces blue under long wavelength of the UV light. To perform this procedure, first prepare a dense milky suspension of the organism to be tested in a small tube containing 0.25 ml of saline solution. This suspension should be prepared from the colonies growing on McConaughey agar. Add 1 tablet of substrate for the detection of the enzyme activity. Place a stopper in the tube and agitate vigorously for a few seconds. Then incubate the tube at 35 to 37 degrees Celsius for nearly 4 hours. The appearance of a yellow color in the supernatant is an indication of the positive test for E. coli. But for the confirmation, you will observe the sample under UV light. Here in this picture, you can see the results under UV light. The electric blue fluorescence shows the positive test and the negative test shows the lack of fluorescence. Here you can see there is no fluorescence, and here you can see a very bright blue color which shows the activity of the enzyme. So this is how you can perform the test for the detection of E. coli in food and water or other environmental samples. Now moving towards another procedure for the identification of microorganisms for a specific kind, and this is the bile solubility test. This test helps to differentiate between Streptococcus pneumoniae from the viridans streptococci. Streptococcus pneumoniae is soluble in bile and other bile salts in comparison with the other streptococci members of the viridans, which are insoluble. Viridans streptococci are a large group of commensal streptococcal gram-positive bacteria. That is, they form a relationship with other organisms and they are the gram-positive bacteria. They are alpha hemolytic and they produce a green coloration on the blood agar plates. Hence the name is viridans from the Latin meaning the green. The principle behind this procedure is that the inoculum of the test organism is mixed with the bile salt solution, which can already be prepared, and then you will check the turbidity of the sample. A heavy inoculum of the test organism mixed with the bile salt solution, and this solution dissolves the Streptococcus pneumoniae by clearing the turbidity within 10 to 15 minutes, and the viridans and other streptococci species are not dissolved in, and therefore there is no clearing of the turbidity. So this is the principle of this test. Let's move towards the detailed procedure. The chemicals which are required for this test are the sodium deoxycholate 100 gram per liter and the sodium chloride 8.855 gram per liter. First, what you will be doing, mix several colonies of the test organism in a tube containing 2 milliliter of the sterile sodium chloride solution. That is, it must be microbe free. And it will give a turbid suspension. Then you will divide the organism suspension between two tubes. You will transfer the suspension half the amount into another tube. Then to one tube, add 2 drops of sodium deoxycholate and mix. To the other tube, that will be the negative control, add 2 drops of sterile distilled water and mix it. Then leave both the tubes for 10 to 15 minutes at 35 to 37 degrees Celsius. After that, look for the clearing of the turbidity in the tube containing the sodium deoxycholate. This is how the results can be seen. The clearing of the turbidity, here you can see, shows the positive results. That is, there is the presence of the Streptococcus pneumoniae. No clearing of the turbidity, organism is probably not the Streptococcus pneumoniae. There should be no clearing of the turbidity in the negative control tube to which distilled water was added, because there is no any chemical compound added to remove the turbidity. There are some exceptions in the results. You must consider that. Some strains of Streptococcus pneumoniae are not dissolved by the bile salts, and very occasionally some strains of viridans streptococci give a positive test. So there could be some irrelevant results. You must consider these results as well. or you may perform other tests for the confirmation. The next test is the catalase test. This test is used to differentiate those bacteria that produce the enzyme catalase, such as Staphylococci, from non-catalase producing bacteria such as Streptococci. Catalase enzyme acts as a catalyst in the breakdown of hydrogen peroxide to oxygen and water. An organism is tested for catalase production by bringing in contact with the hydrogen peroxide. Bubbles of oxygen are released if the organism is catalase producer. For this purpose, the culture of the organisms should not be more than 24 hours old. So you have to prepare the fresh cultures for performing this test. Hydrogen peroxide in the concentration of 3% is required, and the steps are as follows. Pour 2 to 3 ml of the hydrogen peroxide solution into a test tube. Then, using a sterile wooden stick, or you may use a glass rod, to remove the several colonies of the test organism, and you will immerse these colonies in the hydrogen peroxide solution and then look for immediate bubbling. Here you can see the results. Active bubbling shows the positive catalase test, and if there will be no bubbles, then it will be the negative catalase test. For positive catalase, you will use the control organism, this Staphylococcus species, and for the negative catalase control, the Streptococcus species. So in this way, you can perform this test with the positive and negative controls, and the positive result shows the bubbling and the negative result shows the absence of the enzyme, that is, there will be no bubbles. The next test is the citrate utilization test. This test is one of the several techniques used occasionally to assist in the identification of enterobacteria. The test is based on the availability of an organism to use citrate as its only source of carbon. There are two ways to perform the citrate test. The first one is the using a citrate identification tablet. This is the most economical method when only a few tests are performed. These tablets are available in the market and have a long shelf life, and they are very stable in the tropical climates. The other method is the using Simon's citrate agar. There are some drawbacks of this method. In this method, the dehydrated medium is involved, and this medium is only available in 500 gram pack size. After being opened, the medium does not have good stability in the tropical climates as it will absorb the moisture from the surroundings. So this is not more reliable. Now moving towards the details of this procedure. First, we will focus on citrate utilization using a citrate tablet. What you will be doing? First, you will prepare a dense bacterial suspension of the test organism in 0.25 ml of the sterile saline solution in small tube. Then add a citrate tablet and stop the tube with the help of stopper. After that, incubate it overnight at 35 to 37 degrees Celsius. The appearance of the red color shows the positive citrate test, and the yellow-orange color give the results as the negative citrate test. For positive citrate test reaction, the control is Klebsiella pneumoniae, and the negative reaction is by E. coli. So these are the control organisms. This is how these results are shown in the experiment. The bright color shows the positive test, while the yellow-orange color shows the negative test. The other method is using Simon's citrate agar. What you will be doing is prepare the slopes of the medium. Then using a straight wire, first streak the slope with a saline suspension of the test organism, and then stab the butt, that is the base of the test tube. Incubate at 35 degrees Celsius for 48 hours, and then look for a bright blue color in the medium. If there will be the bright blue color, it shows the positive test results, and if there will be no change, then negative citrate test. Here you can see the bright blue shows the positive citrate test, and no change in color is the negative citrate test of the medium. The positive citrate test reaction control organism is Klebsiella pneumoniae, and the negative control organism is E. coli. This is all about the part of this lecture. Most of the data of this lecture is taken from the book, that is the District Lab Practice in Tropical Countries. We will then learn the remaining techniques in the next lecture. This is all for today. Thank you.